air conditioning you can get in France. Yeah. Apologize for this. So how many English speakers in the room? Okay, 0. So I think we go in French. And
Wrecked.
Okay, so guys,
it's a French OG stuff, and we don't have Marc Carpales. He didn't respond. He didn't want to come.
no, he's in the room.
He's in the room.
Yeah, if you wanna chase your Bitcoin, don't hesitate.
I want to know if the suit is over. Like, are we going to get back the Bitcoins or no?
Yeah, you are inside Mongox.
I can't.
So what do you actually
No,
care?
I mean, it's important. It's an important news. Like, are we going to get the Bitcoin or not?
Okay, guys. So tonight, this is the talk. Once upon a time, a French OG tale. So it's more like more than a panel. This is a discussion that people will be discussing a few different anecdotes, a few different nice stories. And well, let's get started. Let's introduce ourselves from the left to the right.
Sure. All right, thanks for having me. I'm Sam, and I run Journal du Coin, which is media that deals with everything, like all things blockchain, Bitcoin, crypto, and yeah, all that stuff since 2016, 17. And on the side, I have another project called Node Guardians. We basically validate proof-of-stake networks, and we create interactive items to master different tech stacks, and there's a whole like digital identity concept behind it, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Marc Zeller. I'm the head of the developer relation at Aave. Aave is a decentralized stablecoin protocol, I guess, with the Go asset. Just like those guys, Chidao, with the My asset. You should check out what they do, my.finance. And it's my pleasure to join this OG Tale panel.
My name is Jerome. I run a non-profit called Ethereum France. We organize ETHCC, the conference, that you may or may not go to tomorrow morning. And I also run Cometh, a blockchain game studio that produces cool games, but also cool tech for gamers that want to build Web3 games.
Nice. So basically, if you want a ticket, that's the guy for tomorrow. He's got plenty of tickets. Myself, I'm Julien Bouteloup. I've been in the space for quite some time. So we run Rect News. Who knows about Rect? Nice. So you're eligible to buy a hoodie in the next room. If you called, this is a nice hoodie. It's like black for the outside weather. I also run a Blackpool, which is a quantitative hedge fund for the NFT market. We invest heavily in the NFT market, and we, compared to any VCs or investors, we actually make work on those assets. And we have esport verticals where we welcome managers, players that can play those different verticals, can go from gaming to real estate to any different verticals. So we also invested in Comets for the spaceship game, but we are the leader in Zeller, the football fantasy game based in France. StakeDAO, it's a leader in the liquid governance on the market. So we accumulate governance tokens to then apply those assets. It's a mutualized wealth management mechanism where we then apply those governance tokens, those boosts, those bribes on your assets. And then Stake Capital I've been investing in for a couple of years in the space, since 2016. So we invest as a family office in the market, not as a VC. And also run a quant, so we do arbitrage, liquidation, market makers. And I'm glad to announce that we are still alive. One that hasn't been wrecked yet, like some really well-known double ACBB or something. Yeah, so it's nice. So I guess today, what we can do, I've got some prepared questions. So I will go to this question. If you say this is shit, you tell me, because it's not my question, so we can, I can go.
So have you lended any money to 3 Euro Capital?
No, that's the thing. That's why I'm still alive.
Maybe,
none of them.
Maybe Aave did, but because Aave is like a very tough negotiator, I think everybody paid back.
Yeah, liquidators.
Like smart contracts are tough negotiator.
We also a liquidator on Aave, so it's pretty good. It's a very nice business.
Busy times, isn't it?
What?
Busy times for you guys.
It's how do you say that? It's March, but it's honest work. It's been some couple interesting weeks in the past. Okay, so which kind of OG? Who knows what is OG? Original gangster. It's people that pretend to be early in the crypto space. This is a panel here. Just kidding. Okay, which kind of OG are you? Tea or coffee?
What the fuck?
No, I mean, I announced it.
What is your favorite color? Like,
No,
and why is it orange?
okay, after that, in a couple of minutes, I will point the guy that drove the questions. He's drinking some wine now. Okay, so tea or coffee?
Coffee.
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 Tea.
I'm coffee. Yeah. Utopian or realistic?
The what?
Utopian or realistic?
Realistic.
Realistic.
Realistically utopian, for sure.
That's smart.
Diplomatic guy. I'm more like utopian, but I engage in realistic behaviors.
Sure.
Yeah. Ethereum or Bitcoin?
Ethereum.
Ethereum.
Yeah, Ethereum. Like,
Ethereum.
He's the fucking creator of
you only
Ethereum, friends.
use it.
Android or iOS? And then it's just one more, and then
Come
we
on.
stop. Okay,
The only usage for Bitcoin is to wrap it on Ether.
No, Android or iOS?
Andre or what?
Android or iOS?
Oh, Android.
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 iOS. Okay. Then you can.
You actually betrayed because when I met you, you were an Android maximalist.
No,
like
no.
it's pretty recent that you joined the
the
Apple
guy.
cult.
Every time it reminds me of this one. That's not true. I've
That's
been
not
wearing.
true.
Okay, on the phone, yes, but not on the laptop. I've been an early adopters of my Apple PC, and then switched to the Mac. But the phone, yes, I use the iOS, Android for a long time, until they stole everything from me. Then,
It's hard to choose between both systems. Like they're both great, but both have 0 days fails that are exploited. But one just gives you some options to determine what you want to do with your device. Yeah.
Are you guys more like Android or iOS? iOS, because you get like a huge. Yeah, iOS. Okay, cool. iOS. Okay. Last one. Did you enter the game attracted by the money or rather by the technology? Are you here for the technology or here for the money?
First it was the money.
Yeah.
Then I stayed for the tech.
Okay.
Because it's called a bit, that's usually what you do during a bear market.
Well, you enter with the tech and then you end up with the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it was like for a short time the tech, and then the money really like pushed me forward. I saw my friend like ordering drugs on the darknet, and I found it really astonishing to see that he can get that commodity appear in his home without, while relying on a totally independent, let's say, settlement layer, and the thing would really like materialize. It would really appear in its home, and I was like, dude, this shit is insane. But then, what really like pushed me to fully commit to this thing was the fact that there was a huge economic opportunity. Then I got wrecked real hard in 2018. And while I only had like good memories and an empty wallet to think, I started to eventually take interest in the tech and sharpen my thesis, I guess. So it was the tech, a little bit, money, and then the tech, and then.
Yeah, good memories and empty wallets. I was here for the tech. Also, the drug use case was pretty cool. And then started to make some money and was lucky enough to work here. So, yeah, I stayed for the money after.
How many people are here for the money? That's M&A guys, no? And how many people are here for the tech? That's it. That's ECC.
But
Ethereum Community Conference.
It's tech
If
money.
you're here for the
you
money,
know?
you need to leave.
It's programmable money. It has to be tech as well.
Just kidding.
Right, yeah.
This is not true. We're here like for the vision, and we're also making money, building the vision, which is amazing. So I guess, how did you came in? Did you enter the space?
That's you.
No, Marc, go ahead, because I
That's
think they all answered the question here.
Who is this guy?
with this guy. Okay, tell us about
Actually, this guy.
the story.
So a good friend of mine, I had like a short story with Bitcoin early, but it was like just speculative and not really interesting, and also the alternative use case that were interesting. But at some point, a good friend of mine, which is one of the founder of Ethereum France, told me there's a new Bitcoin, it's the future. And I witnessed in 2014 the altcoin era, so I was like, fuck you. I listened to like 30 new Bitcoin shitcoin, and it doesn't make sense.
I need to stop to, like, whatever this guy says, it's always the future. It's always like, no, you have to listen to me. This is the future. It can be like the worst thing ever. You always pretend to be the future. So that's why it's tough to...
Yeah, but this guy saying,
super
no,
excited.
This time is different. And obviously I was like very dubious. Like, no, it's different. It's called Ethereum and the smart contract. And what the fuck is a smart contract? But that was the beginning of my journey, because it was like so convinced it's something new and interesting that I had to do my own research. And during my own research, I met this guy. And that was the beginning of Ethereum France, the first meetups in France. And that was the beginning of the journey.
What a day.
You were mining Ethereum back in the
Yeah. I was doing a lot of wrong choice in terms of hardware. So I ended up doing some Bitcoin mining because I was studying a thesis on gross models with environmental constraints. So like policy analysis, like, hey, what happens if you tax carbon? Like, what happens if you tax this, if you tax that? And I was finding like paradoxes, like, if you do this, it will end up doing that, maybe. Or if you do that, it will end up doing this. So not really finding a lot of traction on my research, and met a guy that was reading the Bitcoin white paper, find it interesting to do money without central bank, and decided to give it a go as a hobby, like try to build my own Bitcoin miner with graphic cards. It was 2013. And if you remember these days, this is when the FPGA came out. So the new hardware, like one or two order of magnitude better than graphic cards to mine Bitcoins. So I invested maybe like six or 12 graphic cards and was trying to handle the rigs, like graphic cards falling apart, replacing, and so on. And really not making any buck on mining Bitcoins. And I tried to convince friends to invest graphic cards with me because it was the future. No, it was the future. It's very good to dry your clothes when they are wet. Like just put them next to the miner. So lots of failed mining attempts, never the right hardware for the right stuff. And eventually Ethereum came out, and I was like, oh, cool. There is a new mining algorithm that is resistant to ASICs and just specialized for graphic cards, so I should definitely start to mine that. This is where I started to get in touch with the rest of the blockchain community, which was mainly Bitcoiners that didn't really remember how to verify a block, or it was just like Bitcoin. They should have created a Pokemon called the Bitcoin. It's even better. But those guys were like, no, it sucks. And a few of them were like, oh, it's interesting. You're trying a new application for blockchain. And luckily, some of those guys were also involved with the Ethereum Foundation or trying to do cool stuff. And this is how the Ethereum Friends meetup started. We just decided to get together and try to figure out how to run our miners or how to compile Solidity code from version 2. Like, when the thing compiles, you're like, okay, done. I'm fine. So it was an interesting time. And then I switched to do some programming and then switched to work here and stuff. And stopped mining in 2017, end of 2017, because I was just losing money on electricity.
Nice. And you also almost got slashed because you lost internet in your flat, no?
Oh, you want to hear funny mining stories? Okay, here's a good one. You all know the client GET, is G-E-T-H. So usually you run your miners. There was no Infura back then, so you need to have GET, or you need to connect to a mining pool. Mining pool wasn't very stable at this time. So July 2015, you run your miner, you run your node, and then you open GET and you type get.mine, and it starts the miner. So you're like, okay, but I need a wallet first. So you type get wallet, and it creates a wallet. So you're like, okay, I got my wallet. Now get.mine. Okay, cool, I'm mining. And then time passes, time stuff, and so on. And I'm supposed to have found 2 blocks. Where are my ether? Well, you need to say that you want to mine on your first account, otherwise it doesn't mine on your first account. So I think I mined a couple of blocks on the 0x0 like this. Got shrugged by lots of hiccups on get. And indeed, I didn't get slashed, but I missed a few attestation on Ethereum too, because the internet came out and the electricity came out, and but you're better off not being online than having a backup that starts and do weird things, and then you get slashed because you've signed different things and different heights. So don't do that. Accept that if you're offline, you are losing money.
Yeah. So myself, I got into the space. My background is distributed system and machine learning. Distributed system, now you all think about blockchain, but back then there was nothing to do with blockchain. I got involved in mega upload, so doing torrents. This crazy guy that had to escape to Australia. So I was involved in this one, and also pretty big in CS, in Counter-Strike. So that's how I got involved in, because all my friends, again, I didn't really believe in the vision, but he said, oh, you need to run those algorithms. And one of them was the European Space Agency for providing power of computing for discovering stars in the universe. I'm not sure if you remember this kind of software you could download. It's not about making money. And then there was another one. So I did this process, again, without really knowing what I was going into. And I really want to point this out, that in this space, it's not usually or very often necessarily something that you know what will be the output of something that you're currently doing. And that's usually what the biggest reward you get in a short or medium future. So I did that, and then in the late 2011, beginning of 2011, then it ended up to be Bitcoin, and then all the stories about Mongox and Marc. That's the joke from Jerome, that apparently people in Mongox will. But it's a funny past. And then I got involved in mining, like Jerome, proof of stake, liquid.
We do.
Exactly. That's how we got involved together.
Exactly. We were playing like at the HCC, I think the 3rd edition. We were in a blockchain game on Loom together.
Yeah, we built a guild. Remember the game Loom? Loom. Okay, this is that's how you recognize the audience is pretty.
Crypto zombies, come on,
Crypto zombies.
Funny.
Crypto zombies was the class built, educational class built by
Funny,
Loom, but they also built the game. It was this.
Funny anecdote. You invested in Sorare, right?
Yeah, then I built this guild, and that's how I ended up in Sorare.
So when I was at Consensus, I was doing due diligence on technical due diligence on projects we were invested in with Consensus, and I was tasked with reviewing Sorare. I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to review it. I don't know anything about soccer. It's just not my thing. I was like, oh well, let's look at their code. Let's look at their thing. The initial version of Sorare was Crypto Zombie.
Yeah, because I did.
So I was like, guys, well, it's working. It's Crypto Zombies. We just changed a couple of commands here and there, and it works. Like, yeah, well, it's fine. I guess the value is not in replicating the smart contract.
After that, they just found Starkware that wrote all the code, and that was it.
That's it. Then you can just focus on the product. Yeah. That's the thing. So now we can go into some questions. Hey guys, if you have any questions in the audience, don't hesitate. Okay, this is freedom. You can raise your hand and ask a question. So, what event must shape the future of crypto in the next 5 years? What do you think will be the future of DeFi, of blockchain, or this space?
The flippening.
What?
The flippening.
Okay, flippening. Do you mind explaining to the audience the flippening aspect?
So the flippening is when Bitcoin is not the number one by market cap crypto in the ecosystem. And I have nothing against Bitcoin, but I think at this point it's weighting down the full ecosystem in terms of use case. Like the fact that most of crypto, like you take the 100 market cap, you have 90 layer ones there, because the market is not mature enough to have picked the infrastructure winner. And as long as you don't pick the infrastructure winner, you cannot focus on the app layer, the actual economic activity that happened.
But Lightning Network.
Yeah, there's more Bitcoin. It's actually funny. There's more Bitcoin in Aave than on Lightning Network.
But it's coming. It's coming.
The only actual use case of Bitcoin is to be wrapped on Ethereum.
Ooh. Do we have like any Bitcoin maximalists in the audience? He's a Bitcoin maximalist. No. Biggest one. We don't have any Bitcoin maximalists there, no?
Well, we should be thankful of Bitcoin because they finance Ethereum in the first place.
We are. But we are thankful.
I mean,
I think
I still believe
there's
in
an
Bitcoin.
actual use case for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is like the most secure network, proof of work network.
Yeah, because no one can use it.
But what is the percentage and the weight of gold, the digital? If Bitcoin wants to be digital gold, they have to assume their ambition. What is the weight of gold in finance?
Well, not
Is it
nec-
60%?
Not
I'm not sure.
necessarily, because actually, if you start from this point, it's actually they are succeeding in the mission, because if you compare to this Web3, they have mostly a percentage of the entire market cap. So they're actually succeeding because they have more than majority of the market cap by 50%. So they are succeeding in the vision of becoming a trend and a store of value in this revolution. So it's actually a true success on their side.
The event that might be like the trigger, something that brings us in a new era. I mean, in my opinion, it's pretty simple. We're looking at OECD countries with their currencies that are failing to some extent. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen when one of these comfortable countries will have its population questioning the relevance of their currencies, and we will see an event that would potentially trigger a real scale usage of decentralized systems. Because right now, like in OECD countries or like in Northern America, people are not really concerned or taking a proper look at what cryptocurrencies and all coordination systems enables you to do. So I'm really curious to see how governments, but also distributed systems, cryptocurrencies are gonna handle that stress test. Are we gonna see cryptos being marginalized 500% and, having cryptos would be like hiding a Jew in Paris in 42 in your home? Or are we gonna see them like cooperate and on board, like accept that system? I'm really curious to see what faith the establishment is gonna show towards cryptocurrency once we will reach a point where fiat currencies are definitely going to fail, unless they have some magic formula to make them, to sustain them forever. Really curious to see what's going to happen. I think that's gonna be a critical turning point for cryptocurrencies in general.
So
You want me to repeat the question? Or?
no, I mean, monetary systems rise and fail. Like there are cycles about it. It's funny though, because before answering, I was trying to think like, did I experience a change of currency? Yes, I did. We lost the franc and we got the euro. So it happened to me as well. So it's normal that sometimes we just get rid of the old system and we replace it by a new system by reforging the trust in the system. Like, well, let's get rid of the euro and take the Euroc, for example. It's a new system. It's fine.
Only the pound is the last thing, but the thing is, what if people are totally losing trust in institutions and massively taking a look at alternative solutions to communicate and exchange value in a trustless manner? And then you have a massive exodus of interest and capital towards that universe, and governments are like, like a kid who's losing in a Monopoly game and flipping the whole thing and like, no cryptos for everyone. No, that's not good. You gotta go use like the Euroc.
Yeah, the Euroc. Well, to be fair with the pound, it stays. The name stayed because there is a monopoly for emission. So they keep the name in order to not have to change the monopoly of emission that was given to the Bank of England in 1614. Yeah. But it changed also in how it behaved. Like you cannot change your pound against gold at the Royal Bank of England. Yes.
It's the oldest currency, I believe, like the British pound. Yeah.
But what I think will be a defining moment is also I think the merge will be a defining moment. It's definitely going to be a defining moment for DeFi because suddenly you will have a in-protocol interest rate for your ethers. Yeah, in-protocol interest rate for your ether. So any ether that is sitting elsewhere, let's say they are sitting
You have ST on Aave.
Yeah.
It works.
How much? How much? Yeah. Well, so
The discount is like less than before.
It will pop the questions like, am I better off getting 3% with my Ether at stake, or am I better off getting X% with my Ether as liquidity in a liquidity pool, or in lending in some lending protocols?
In stake capital.
In stake-
Definitely more money.
Definitely more money. It always more
So
money in
question-
stake capital.
Question, you finished? No?
But that's which one?
Are you done? No?
No, I'm not. I'm almost done. So there is. It's like when we have what we have in the current financial system, when we have the director rate. Like with the merge, we will have this rate as the basic rate in the DeFi space, which create lots more of use case and lots more adoption, and may trigger the flippening. What will be super cool with the flippening is like the roller coaster. It's not the moment that you go down. What's super cool is getting close to going down. Like, oh, we're almost there, and then all the dominoes fall apart.
The flippening has already happened. I think it's not about the market cap, it's about the volume, the real
sure.
activity.
When you are in a situation that a decentralized exchange such as Uniswap v3 does more volume than a centralized exchange such as Coinbase almost every day since a year, there's already a flippening that happens.
How much volume do you do a day, Ave?
Less than you.
Exactly.
Less than 1% than yours.
Curve Finance doing the biggest volume in the market. Okay, questions. Who wants to see fiat money disappear for cryptocurrencies? I repeat the question for the M&A guy. Who wants to see the fiat disappear and be replaced by crypto? So this is very interesting because you guys...
I don't want fiat to disappear.
Exactly.
Like,
That's the point.
One
No.
thing that is
I don't want fiat to
extremely
let me just
okay.
one more thing. What's very interesting is like when you hear people, they're always like, "Oh, crypto is the best." Then we need this money, replace flippening, whatever, be adopted by the regulations, be adopted by all these different people. But then as soon as you start asking the questions, how do you feel about this society using crypto instead of fiat? Then people are backing up and they're like, "Wait a second, maybe not necessarily be completely replaced by crypto."
Okay.
Because I think as users of crypto, we know this is really dangerous, and we know that people that are running the show, they are a little bit degen. So the point is, what I'm trying to say, for example, rect.news. The question is, do you trust more centralized power, regulators, people that have access and try to regulate other people, or us as a community with all the pseudo experts and influencers driving the next society?
So I definitely trust us more than I trust anyone in charge of monetary policy at any bank. I've never, ever voted for the central banker of France, or neither nor the central banker of Europe. And I don't think any presidential candidate I've ever put in their program, if I'm elected, I'm going to put this guy in charge. No, like it's just politics. Like you put your friends, you put your things, and that's not your concern. Yet I'm more. I'm not super I'm not super looking forward to the day where we will stop using fiat, because that means that we will have to pay for every public services and pay for everything from the military to the police to everything with crypto. And it changes completely the social contract that you have in your society, when this society cannot really rely on a government good enough and trustworthy enough to actually handle its currency. And if the fiat disappear, it means that there will be a lot of upheaval, or maybe there will be a big Bitcoin army that will just control the state and be like, okay, we changed the system, we are installed there, and now we pay the tax in crypto.
Isn't Dubai like this?
Maybe.
We can ask an expert.
No?
That's an odd heaven, but pretty enjoyable. Happy to talk about it. If you have like some sharp questions, happy to give a feedback about it.
But the collapse of the fiat system will mean also the collapse of the general political system. That's why I'm not super looking forward to this.
But
I like the status quo.
Other stuff as well. Like, one thing I want to remind everyone is that borrowing is shorting. So you don't borrow an asset that you think will appreciate in value. It doesn't make sense. If you think an asset will appreciate over time in value, you just buy it. You don't borrow it. So because fiat by design depreciates in value, it's an incredible asset to borrow. And for example, right now, I'm borrowing euro stablecoins instead of USD stablecoins.
Exactly.
Because I bet that Christine Lagarde is going to stay shit at her job, and the euro will lose value and purchasing power faster than the USD. And it's a great debt to have, euro. So if fiat disappear, you end up with only crypto as collateral and also as a borrowable asset.
Yeah.
And who the fucking is right man will borrow Bitcoin?
Yeah.
You see, when I ask the question, are you here for the tech, or are you here for the vision, are you here for the money?
Well, the
You're saying that
utopian
it's
and the
basically-
realistic.
it's basically
I think the first
shorting
question was
Europe
interesting.
to long US.
No, but
That's exactly what you said.
2% target. Target of inflation is 2%.
2%.
Why is it 2%? It's because you expect the population to grow by 2%. You want to have this unit of accounts that is widely accepted in your social contract, so that people can just have jobs, have kids, grow, and then the purchasing power diminish every year because it's diluted over the new generation that comes. So getting rid of the fiat will bring a lot of upheaval in the social contract. And
Also, it's a great gift for people that already has money. Like if you get rid of fiat, if you get rid of an inflationary asset, you're basically telling to people that has all the capital today, well, you won the game.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to another question. So this week, this is the focus on Ethereum. Ethereum as a community, so we welcome all the different projects, all the different layer 2, sidechain projects, different blockchains. What do you think about Bitcoin and ETH in the next 5 years? Or other blockchain like Polygon, Avalanche, Solana? If Ethereum is succeeding in the vision to be a proof-of-stake blockchain, to have super fast transactions, to be super decentralized, and to be super secure, do we need other blockchains? Sam, the mic is yours.
I always get that one on your panels, Julien. But
But I'm not the one asking the question normally.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean,
Well, feel free to ask questions.
of
You can
course,
replace this question by your question.
I'll come up with a few, but I'm still overall I have a bullish bias on cryptocurrencies, and what I take strong interest in lately are basically scaling solutions for Ethereum. But the thing is that by design, these scaling solutions for Ethereum, which basically enable let's say shorter, better throughput, can also be applied to Bitcoin and can basically scale any form of system. So if you're basically getting involved with an optimistic rollup design or a ZK rollup, you could think as these solutions being deployed on Bitcoin, even though that requires some, political, a strong political job and some changes from a
What about
technical
Lightning?
standpoint. Oh God, I'll get to that later. But when it comes to ZK rollups, I'm a big fond of what Starcore is building, especially with Starknet and the mainnet Alpha. By the way, we're organizing a conference called Starknet CC this Friday.
By the way, if you come to Starknet CC, you may or may not have tokens.
Oh.
Well, the question was not about ZK rollups or whatever. It was about competitors to Ethereum.
Competitors to Ethereum. Okay, the competitors to Ethereum. So I like Cosmos.
Do you really need competitors when you already have a solution that is giving you satisfaction?
So Ethereum is scaling, but while breaking composability, it's scaling like horizontally. So you have like there is the rollup, like the rollup centric vision of Ethereum. Each rollup is like settling on Ethereum, blah blah blah. But you break composability. Some blockchains are trying to scale vertically with concurrency and parallelization, like Solana tried to do and is still trying to do. Aptos and Sui are trying to come up with interesting design. And so I think it's interesting to also have these systems where you're basically accepting like a shittier economical security and less of a decentralization, but still a trustless system by design. And
you have a perfect triangle: security, decentralization, and scalability.
Yeah.
Imagine Ethereum as being perfect.
It's in the middle. Look.
I mean, with all the ZK blocks, all the plasma chains.
So you're describing like an ideal Ethereum, which is not
I'm talking
existing.
in 2 months, in 3 months.
I'm not interested in something that doesn't exist. I'm ready to discuss what exists today and what might exist in the short term, but it doesn't make sense to.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's refine the question. Like,
Internet computer.
do you believe in anything that's not EVM compatible? Or is it like the EVM franchise as one? Like everybody prefer the Avengers versus
That's a good question.
Whatever.
How many Ethereum maximalists in a room? We did
No,
not
EVM maximum.
let's start with
EVM.
Ethereum maximalist. Ethereum maximalist. He was about to raise his hand and he looked, it was no one. Come on, guys. Push him up. Yeah? So you believe that Ethereum will kill all of them, but economically speaking, for your interest, you're betting on others. Yeah? Okay. So
EVM
we don't have
maximalists
a
come
big-
together.
And now who
I'm
is
the
a
EVM
EVM
maximalist.
maximalist? Mind explaining what is an EVM maximalist?
I am an EVM maximalist.
What do you explain? But in a very
You,
couple...
you prefer things that are based on an Ethereum virtual machine against anything. If your blockchain doesn't support the Ethereum virtual machine, just like Moonbeam supports EVM on Polkadot, just like Cosmos OS, no,
Ethmos.
Ethos,
Ethmos.
Yeah, I think
Ethmos.
Ethmos. I fear that
It's a Facebook thing.
No, I was thinking maybe they take Comet as a name, so I'm glad they didn't do that. Yeah, do you want to do Cosmos? Like, you want to first do Ethereum on Cosmos. Do you want to do Polkadot? You want to do first Ethereum on Polkadot. Do you want to do Near? You want to do Ethereum on Near, please? Because we have 7 years of standardization for multiple use cases that have some abstractions, some not abstraction yet, some will abstraction. We have massive amounts of investment from VCs and from liquidity providers to support those things. So you don't want to go on a new blockchain with a new fancy virtual machine, like let's say written in a formal proof, whatever. Let's say written in C++, because why not? Let's say I have doubts about Rust, though, but still you're like, well, it's a new.
So you don't believe in a Starknet.
No, it's not
different.
It's not the thing. It's not the thing. They say they have a transpiler, so
It's called Warp.
In
yeah. But anyway,
IL transparent.
anyway, if your virtual machine is brand new, you have to come. You have to come ahead. You have to come at the level of standardization and availability of Ethereum. If you want to do an NFT on a new blockchain, you're like, oh, cool. What is a standard contract? Oh, we don't have one yet, but there are a couple of guys that are building it. You should have a look at it. Well, thank you. I'll just deploy an Ethereum contract. And that's what I think EVM maximalism is. If you look at the top 100 crypto, you're like, well, there is a lot of layer ones, and the best performing ones are the one with EVM, or the one that will stay are the one with EVM. And now, even if Ethereum is the number one after flippening and so on, and attract massive value, massive activity, and so on, I really doubt that anyone will die. I think I will die before Ripple will die.
Yeah, that's
People will continue doing that. There's so many.
But you always have, before you're shipping any form of smart
Tezos,
contract, to go
Tezos.
through audits that are extremely expensive, which is a big barrier to ship like a respectable, let's say, protocol. Props to Stake DAO for not being exploited to this day while shipping a lot of features. But, always having to take this into account every time you want to ship a new version is definitely something that I think makes us stand a bit apart from global adoption, because when you want to make that global computer that enables people to ship applications, you want people to have a certain threshold of security for the applications that they ship. So we never know. Maybe on a span of 10 years, we will see some exotic solutions that are formally provable, like gaining traction, or some new hardened GS like Agoric is doing, maybe like seducing a population of developers and becoming widespread. But I think that all languages will definitely coexist. It's going to be hard to get the EVM out of the throne, but I believe that there is a need for languages that offer higher security guarantees.
That's true. And
Well,
what I think it's been the evolution. It's kind of like interesting how the space has been evolving over the past 12 years. We start from Bitcoin being like something that you cannot do, like programmable money, Ethereum programmable money, and then by Ethereum being proof of stake, then there was an opportunity for all the different blockchain, all the different projects to create competitors that could provide cheap transaction to run NFT games or to actually make transactions, because who wants to spend 10 US dollars if it costs 25 US dollars? So economically speaking, Ethereum is not accessible for retail. Let's call it like that. It's only for people that have money. So what they did, those blockchain, they create new solutions, new technical solutions. Most of the time they came from ETH research.ch, the website, let's call it. Then they create a new blockchain, and then they incentivize people by distributing their token to some new user to come to their blockchain. But then they quickly realized that users were not staying there. They were farming and then leaving back to Ethereum. So then they create the bridge. The bridge is a solution for incentivizing users from Ethereum and not necessarily from exchanges come to the Ethereum base, to their blockchain by incentivizing users from Ethereum. And now what I've seen as a trend is now those blockchains, they are turning into layer 2 solution, becoming a scalability solution for the Ethereum mainnet, which is an interesting aspect. And that's why I come back to you, Sam, what you said. Technologically speaking, they are building something useful, but now the trend of Ethereum is so huge that the user, the database is there. So the question was more about if they solve the problem of scalability and cost, it will be very difficult for those other blockchains to stay alive and to provide a solution that will compete with Ethereum base. So now the question is, you've seen all this entire evolution. Quick question is, what makes you stay in this space after all this path to bear market, success, bull, bear market, success, farm, dump, all these different things?
Because I think like the average quality of the project of the ecosystem is only growing. Like my first bull market was about like ICO and things like that, which was basically PDF and ERC20 and a fundraising contract.
NFT and JPEGs.
Yeah, and JPEG.
In 1 minute each, guys.
Oh, it's already over. And I think like we got a lot of shit during this bull market, but I think the average quality was higher, and we got to experience actual decentralized application, not just
Well, what makes you stay here
stay here.
in the ecosystem? They are like waking up each morning. What's like drive you south?
Because the average quality is rising across the ecosystem, and we get to contribute a small part of it, and I think that's quite interesting.
Sam?
What would make me stay once we have achieved like singularity in blockchain? What's the question exactly?
What make you stay in a space? Okay, let me do like a double questions because we don't have much time. What make you stay in a space? And do you see yourself after, I mean, it's very well known that in the ecosystem that if you've been building, you usually do a burnout. Like we had bull market for 2 years non-stop. And then it's really difficult, like mentally, psychologically.
I get it.
What you mean stop?
No. The question is, what make you stay in the
get
space?
I get it
and
now.
what-
But I mean, like,
and what-
despite having like, I've lost my hair at 25 and everything. What makes me stay is that I'm having a lot of fun. Building what I'm currently building, and I just see it as, I feel like I'm contributing to building something which enables, like, offers people an alternative, whether they want to know more about how to leverage the systems or whether through contributing with infrastructure. I still think that I'm contributing to something that is relevant to myself, even though it might be totally challenged and marginalized in a few years. I'm still very excited to contribute to that whole technology spectrum, and I wouldn't picture myself doing anything that's more like down to earth. So by just drawing conclusions out of that, there is no way I would do anything else. And because I'm having a lot of fun and I still think that what I do makes sense, I would just try to keep on doing it.
Nice.
Well, I'm an EVM maximalist, so I like Solidity, I like Viper, I like any new code language that will be invented to do stuff on the EVM. I want this baby to thrive. I want EVM everywhere. I want EVM on my phone. I want EVM in the WebAssembly. I want EVM everywhere. I want to get rid of it. Yeah, just EVM.
And do you guys see yourself still part of the ecosystem in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm maybe less active if people get bored of seeing me opening HCC, but
I got bored of seeing you.
yeah. Well, thank you for telling me. Maybe you want to replace me tomorrow at 9? Like,
I guess. Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience? That's the guy over there. First one to raise his hand. The mic. The mic is coming. The mic.
Hello. So it will be quite long to get to the point where I want to go, but excuse me if it's too long for you. All right. So when we are trying to build something new, at some point we realize, like comparing to what existed before. So let's say, for example, let's take the example of the blockchain thing first. So for example, you want to build a new blockchain, but then you realize that this blockchain has to be different from Ethereum to offer something new. But then you realize that all the traffic and all the value is blocked on Ethereum, so you go for an EVM bridge or something
That's right.
something that can be used on this system. So you're trying to bring people into your new solution. And then if we go back to crypto, so right now we have solutions like Aave where you have to put collateral, for example, for your loan, and you have to pay it back in order to get your collateral back. But then we have this thing where in TradFi, in traditional finance, for example, we can provide documents where we earn money, we own a house, we own a car, which can serve as collateral, which is not possible right now on the blockchain. So we come up with SBTs, so soulbound tokens, where you can take under-collateralized loans by providing
It
some
already
information.
exists. It's not very widely used by. It's not a bad word in my mouth, like retail segment, but Aave actually invented with Aave V2 the credit delegation system. So if you have some deposit, some liquidity in Aave, you have a borrowing power. And around 80% of the user base of Aave is just providing liquidity and never borrowing because they are looking for passive income with their asset, but they're never borrowing. And actually in the institution world, before the launch of Arc, and then Arc was like the main use case for that, we got a lot of market makers or liquidity providers that actually delegate to third party in an under-collateralized fashion for that third party, in the eyes of that third party. Obviously, in the eyes of the protocol, every position is over-collateralized, but for that third party, the position is effectively under-collateralized. It's just that it's a tool that is used by institution and professional and less by retail users, which is not a bad word for me, but it's already something that is quite huge in DeFi actually.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get to my point. Sorry. So we are trying to get back to the traditional finance kind of mechanisms where we can use something that we actually own, that we have a reputation for. Then, for example, we cannot compare Lightning Network to anything which is used in the world today. For example, Visa, it would be like a layer 3 or layer 4, even because you have centralized banks, like central banks, then you have commercial banks, then you have Visa, then you have Lydia or other payment solutions. And then, so for example, when we get to layer 4 of Bitcoin, people would like to use stablecoins to protect themselves from the volatility. And then we come back to the exactly
guys
same.
don't even use the layer 2. What do you think
No,
there's going to be a layer
but
4?
the thing is, I mean,
they don't even care about the layer 2.
Let's get straight to the question.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
so the thing is, we've created all these solutions, but aren't we just going to end up with the traditional finance that we are having right now?
That's exactly what Rect is trying to picture in Opium Diaries, in the videos that we usually ship. That's exactly a good question. Whatever we built so far, exactly the same mechanism as traditional finance, except one thing, the technological, the protocol layer is just different, but all the tools are the same, but they are more accessible. They're accessible by all,
And
and
they
can
are
be
not
built,
black box.
and they can be built by everyone. But the concept of lending, borrowing, market making, auto market maker, leveraging, hedging, lending, all different concepts, they're already there. So that's a good question. I think the question will be more, as a community, can we come up with something that is a new paradigm, new way of thinking? And maybe it comes back to your point about the economy and then what Jerome was saying as inflation, central bank, the Fed, printing money. How can we not replace fiat? Because in this room, no one wants to replace fiat, but still use crypto to help those guys achieve their vision about serving the populations rather than serving lobbying, which I think is a good one. And that's exactly what we're experiencing in Curve Finance. People from outside Curve are trying to take control and dictate how the protocol should behave, not necessarily because of the vision, but because for economic reasons. Economic reasons are nice as incentive mechanism to protect the protocol and build, but when they're used to just make money, then it's dangerous. I think it's a good point.
But the 3 euro capital liquidation regarding Aave is already an example of how better the system is. Like they just
Exactly,
reimburse the loan.
It's like saying that everything you do on Aave, you can do on Celsius. But Celsius is a black box, and Aave is auditable. You can track every single dollar on Aave. I think, and the history proved that some users were a bit more protected by their protocol than other kind of users. Like the simple fact that we are breaking black boxes and turning that into completely auditable, completely transparent protocol, and protocol that by design cannot play around with your money because you are in a non-custodian and stay the owner of your own asset is an incredible added value.
Code is low.
Uh, okay, another question, guys.
In that
I see we're
context,
running a bit
yes.
late. Tell us if we need to stop. This guy has a question. I'm scared now.
Hello.
Oh no.
Hello. Yep.
Bonjour.
Question for Marc. So, being a rookie, I was a bit surprised by the competition you show between Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it really looks like they are really complementary.
Yeah, there's
So-
no competition. Like, Bitcoin can be incredibly successful at what they do with a 5% dominance.
So
And it's completely fine. And Bitcoin will work. Bitcoin will mint a new block every 10 minutes on average. Will have some hash rate with a growing difficulty over time, and will still process transaction. It's just that you cannot be just digital gold and nothing else, and expect to be the majority of the market. That's my only point. I have nothing against the Bitcoin network.
You have
And-
you have to say also, like when we started doing Ethereum, like we were badly looked by Bitcoiners. They're like, oh, you guys, you are going to be wrecked. Oh, you guys,
You
it
don't eat
sucks so
steak?
much. Oh, imagine.
We all got wrecked.
Imagine,
You were
imagine.
right.
The attack vector is so huge, it will never scale. Oh,
The
and by the way,
pre-mine,
proof of
the
stake
pre-mine,
suck.
70% pre-mine.
Oh, pre-mine, you suck. And when I realized that most of those Bitcoiners that were super critical about Ethereum, first, they didn't get a share of Ether, that was, they were like, oh no, too bad, we are going to shit on this thing and make sure, grievers, by the way. And overall, it showed that many people are happy about saying Bitcoin, 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 but very few are actually trying to build or improve the protocol. And that's a way of saying, like, okay, guys, now, you know, it's too bad the orange meme coin is mostly active on Ether. Well, maybe it's time to look at what is Lightning Network, what is Liquid, what is Thing, and maybe try to build something that actually works and that actually has adoption. Because competition is super positive. Having many EVM chains, having many non-EVM chains, is pushing people forward to build better consensus, to build better applications, to build better approach, better onboarding. And I guess for me, I came from a place where people were saying, if you don't do Bitcoin, you're bad. And it's cool now that we are accepted among the
But
Bitcoiners.
if you think about it, it would be fine for as a community if Bitcoin is 99% of the entire, and then 1% is the rest. As long as Bitcoin represent a billion trillion market cap, it will be fine. It will be completely fine. Okay, guys. One more question? Nah, we're good, yeah? Well, I guess that's it, guys. I would like to thank the organizer, the ECC organizers, the real organizers, and also Satoshi and Vitalik. I don't know, they asked me to say that, so I'm saying it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.